Hello and welcome to White Glove Reviews. In this video, what I wanted to do is I wanted to share with y'all the rescaling of a Wenger pocket tool chest Swiss Army knife. And this is one of the Wenger 65mm models. Probably the closest one is maybe like the Mini Champ. That's probably about as close as you get if you're looking at like the Victorinox ones. And anyway, as you can see, the scales on this have had a really sort of a tough life. I don't know if you can actually even see it, but the little shield is pretty much worn through. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to replace these scales with some nifty metal scales that I got off eBay. Now, what I'm going to hopefully do is pop off these scales, and these little holes here are going to line up. Now, I've never rescaled a Wenger Swiss Army knife before, but from what I've seen online, sometimes they have different like pin positions for where the knives are pinned together. I'm hoping it's just for the 85mm versions, but we shall see with this one. And what I'm going to do after that, well, let's get to popping things off. Now, the tool I'm using here to pop the things off is just the Victorinox. It's called the watch tool. It has a long German name that I can't pronounce, but it's also a watch tool. And if you can see on the blade, I super glued something, and I think some super glue got on the knife blade. But anyway, so if you want to take the scales off, what you want to do is, first of all, de-toothpick and de-tweezer it. And then what I found for the other one is usually it's easiest just to slip this tool up under there and pop the scale off. Now, I would recommend something like this that's not sharp, because I mean, like, this is not sharp. It's for lifting like watch backs and that kind of thing. So you shouldn't cut yourself with this. And I've seen people do it with like the can opener and other tools that are more pointy. And from how I've done these things before, I think that I might injure myself and ruin a pair of gloves were I to do such a thing. So let's see. I can just slip it up under there, like so. There we go, I got it. And so I just popped it up under there. Hopefully this isn't going to be too awful and nasty and dirty. And I was kind of trying to do this. Okay, that's not so bad. So, quick comparison. Looks like those do actually kind of line up. So that should be alright. And not too awful dirty. So, what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to subject y'all to this part of it, is what I'll do is I'll clean this knife with some like warm soapy water, brush it out, that kind of thing, get it all neat and shiny, and then afterwards we'll pick back up with attaching this to the knife. And one thing that's kind of nice about these scales, well, it's unfortunate that you're losing the scale tools, but I bought this randomly online, and it's obviously used, and so I don't want to keep the toothpick and tweezers. So they are going to go toward the garbage along with those scales. And it looks like these have a similar problem to the Victorinox scales. Well, not necessarily a problem, but when you pop them off, it looks like you break the plastic a little bit. And so they look to also be one-way trips. If I am incorrect, though, please let me know in the comments. Anyway, I'm going to use the powers of video magic, and we'll pick back up after I've had a chance to clean this thing and dig out the, I'm guessing, epoxy I'm going to use, maybe a silicone kind of thing. Anyway, to attach these to this. Thanks to the magic of video, I have taken this and cleaned it, and I cleaned it thoroughly using some warm water and soap, and then I cleaned it again. Basically, I scrubbed it and dried it, etc. and you end up with a clean, scaleless Swiss Army knife. Now the next step is you want to attach these two scales, which seem to want to stick to my little mat here. You attach these two scales at the 4 points you can see right there that correspond to the little studs. Now, because this is a metal scale, what we're going to need to do is use an adhesive to do it. And I have some DAP all-purpose adhesive sealant. And so what I'm going to do is put a teeny tiny dab on each of these, and then I will let it sit, and we should be done. One thing I am going to do, though, is I'm going to put it on a piece of paper, and I'm going to dab it with an old, very much dead Swiss Army knife toothpick. So let me grab one. I'm replacing the scale. I'm going to be replacing the scales on this knife anyway. So let's see if I can get out this little broken toothpick, and we'll make use of it for dabbing our. There we go. We'll make use of it for dabbing our adhesive. Okay. So a little broken toothpick is going to help us out with that. And then what I'm going to do is get organized here. And then I'm going to dab a little bit of the sealant out here on this piece of paper. Just to use it for our work surface. There we go. This is probably much more sealant than I'm going to need, but we can dab it with the toothpick. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this poor, tired toothpick, and we're going to dab a little bit of sealant on each of these little studs. So dab a little bit there, dab a little bit there, and hopefully this won't be too much. We want to make sure we don't accidentally seal something like forever closed. Like we don't want to seal one of the tools shut. Put a little more dab right there. A little more dab right there. I'm going to try and get a little bit of this extra stuff off. Alright. So that takes care of that. Now, we want to put one of these things on. So what I'm going to do is line it up and squish it down like so. And then what we'll do is we'll repeat the process on the other side. So again, we do a little bit of dabbing right here, dab a little bit of this here, make a huge mess, dab a little bit of that there, and try and clean up the mess we made with that one. Now, according to the package, this is supposed to be like, this is basically aquarium sealant is what it is. And so it's supposed to be like food safe, etc. So it shouldn't cause a problem for the Swiss Army knife. And nice little dab over here. It's a little messy, but it should be fine. I tell you what I was kind of curious about. I was thinking about it might be interesting to see if I could put something under the scales. Like maybe put some magnets underneath it or something, just for good measure. So anyway, we just line this one up like the other one. And squish it down. Like so. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to give it 24 hours to basically set up, and then you will be done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rubber band this thing together. You could use a you know, a clothespin or a vise or whatever, but I happen to have a rubber band handy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rubber band this thing shut, and then we'll check back in 24 hours and see how it works. Looks pretty good so far. The sealant used to attach the scales has been given a while to set up. So let's undo this thing and see how it looks in its final form. Let's see. I added an extra rubber band to make sure it held down the two sides evenly. I didn't want it to be squishing only one side. Okay, so there we go. So this is what it looks like. It looks pretty good considering. And make sure the tools and stuff, wow, make sure the tools and stuff open and everything. Alright. Kind of cool looking. Okay. So that's not bad at all, I don't think. It was relatively straightforward to replace the scales. And again, you just use a little zap sealant, which is basically aquarium sealant. And neat. If you are looking for these scales, I found them on eBay, and they weren't very expensive. I want to say they were like $10. And what I did was I had a Wenger pocket tool chest that just had scales that were beat, and well, you saw the original version of it, and I just replaced them. So not bad, and it's kind of a classy little knife now. Anyway, let me know what you think. If you have any questions or suggestions or ideas, you can let me know in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And I hope y'all have an excellent day.